Okay. Number 5, you got to show that A and B are inverses of each other. Now, if B is the inverse of A, then the product of A and B should equal the identity matrix, which is 1, 0, 0, 1. And so I multiply them, and you can see 2 times 3 is 6, and 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. 6 minus 5 is 1. So it's first element in the first row. Then I take 2 times negative 1 is negative 2, and 1 times 2 is 2. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0, second element in the first row. I take 5 times 3 is 15, plus 3 times negative 5, negative 15. 15 minus 15 is 0. And finally, I take 5 times negative 1 plus 2 times 3. I'm sorry, 5 times negative 1 is negative 5, plus 2 times 3 is 6, and that's 1. So 1, 0, 0, 1. Next problem is 13. Now, in 13, we're going to use the RREF method to produce an identity matrix. So anyway, you take the original matrix and you put next to it, so you got 1, negative 2, 2, negative 3, and you put next to it the identity matrix, 1, 0, 0, 1, and then do row operations on this matrix until the left-hand 2 columns become the identity matrix. When you're finished, the right 2 columns will be the inverse. Okay, so my first step is I take, let me get my mouse here. Okay, so I take down the first row, 1, negative 2, 1, 0, like that, because notice I've already got a 1 here. And then take R2 minus 2R1. R2 minus 2R1. That's going to give me 0, 1 here. And then a negative 2 and a 1 over here. Notice that the bottom row now matches the identity matrix. And the top row matches the identity matrix, except for the second element, negative 2. So all I got to do is make this element 0, which I accomplish by taking R1 plus 2R2. R1 plus 2R2 gives me 1, 0, 0, 1. And on the right 2 columns is the inverse matrix for this matrix right here. So here's this matrix right here. And here is its inverse. And if we multiply them, we will get 1, 0, 0, 1, the identity matrix. Okay. Now, 45, solved by hand using the matrix. Okay, 3x plus 4y equals negative 2, 5x plus 4y equals 4. So we got 3, 4, 5, 3. That's A, and then I'm going to have the variable matrix, and then I have the solutions, or the right-hand side of the equation matrix, negative 2, 4. So x, that is the matrix xy, is going to equal the inverse. All right, let me fix this. It shouldn't say negative A. It should equal the inverse of A times B. Okay, so the inverse of A equals 1 over, this is another way to get the inverse other than the method I showed you above, which is 1 over AD minus BC times DA, D minus B minus CA. So here is the 1 over AD minus BC is 1 over negative 11. D and A are the same, so switching them has no difference. But minus B and minus C results in a matrix of minus 3, minus 4, and negative 5, 3. And I multiply every element by 1 over the determinant AD minus BC, and I get the inverse matrix for 3, 4, 5, 3, which is negative 3 over 11, 4 over 11, 5 over 11, negative 3 over 17, negative 3 over 11. So just to check, you don't have to always do this, that I do have an inverse matrix. I multiply A by the inverse, and I get the identity matrix. So X is going to equal B times the inverse. I'm sorry, the inverse times B. Okay. And I get 2, negative 2. Okay, and then the last problem, is a 3 by 3 matrix and solving it by hand. I'm sorry, solving it with the calculator. So first I set up the matrix, the coefficients on the left, and here's the right side. Now, let me set up the matrix here. So I'll go to second and matrix. I go to edit and A, and I'll make it 3 by 3 and 4, negative 1, 1. Okay, 4, negative 1. Okay, then 2, 2, 3. Okay, and then 5, negative 2, 6. Negative 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 2, 6. Okay, now I'll make a matrix B. And this will be a 3 by 1. And that's going to be negative 5, 10, and 1. Okay, now I get out of here. I'm going to do second matrix, and I put A in the workspace, and I make it an inverse by hitting the inverse key, and then I'm going to multiply it by matrix B. And there are the 3 solutions. Okay, now another way to do this is to make a 3 by 4 matrix with all the numbers in it. Let's do that. So go back to matrix A and edit it. I'll make it 3 by 4. Okay, and I'll add the numbers on the right, the elements from matrix B, I'm going to add to this matrix. So I put negative 5 at the end, I put 10 at the end here, and I'll put 1 at the end here. Okay, and then I get out of here, second in mode, second inverse, and I'm going to go to math. Actually, you can arrow up to RREF and hit enter, and then put in matrix A. And here are the 3 answers, and there is the echelon matrix solution we're looking for. And that's the end of the homework.